difference for you between or for me, but I've asked other keyboardists this,
Right.
what's the difference between playing the keyboard and playing the piano?
That's a good question. The piano is way more organic.
Mm-hmm.
It has actual hammers and moving parts, and there's more of a soulful connection to the wood and the sound of it. Keyboard is, you get a keyboard, it's like everybody's keyboard. But it's got other great things. You get more sounds out of it. But there's something about playing the piano that I just love, It's just organic. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing you may not know is that inside the club, I got the Yamaha Baby Grand.
Oh, yeah.
And he would come in
I
and
saw
play
your
that.
film. I saw them delivering it on that documentary.
Speaking of the documentary.
Yeah.
Thanks
That's
again.
right.
Thanks. We got a history. We have a history.
I do my homework here.
Wow,
I'm making bridges.
right into it.
Right.
That's what happens when you practice, not practicing.
That's what happens when you're into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but Simon, it's been a while now. We've known each other since 2017 or whatever it was when we first started playing in the club. So thanks for being part of that documentary. I know you didn't get a chance to go with us to see it in San Francisco.
I wish I could have.
But you finally ended up seeing it, and there you were. I mean, he was in there more than I was in there.
It was.
It was really an honor, and the guy that you got to do the film was so gifted.
Oh, he was.
That was a great film. Honestly, it was really creatively done, very artistic.
Rogelio.
Honestly, that was great. I was surprised by it. I didn't expect that quality, actually.
Oh, well, no, this guy's an award-winning guy. I mean,
It was
he's a
phenomenal.
big-time filmmaker.
I cried, It was like a sad but happy, I mean, I got to see you in a different light.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I only know, I've known you since maybe August or September of 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason we're all tight like this, so
in
the live, hey, what's up? No, but for a cleaner shot too.
Right.
So, but again, thanks so much for that, and I love it, man. I know we went through a little period of not having you with the Backyard Improv, but I'm so glad you're back in the mix again, man. And
Well,
thanks for all that you've done.
I felt horrible about that because I would commit to a gig with him, and then on the date that you had it, I was like, "Oh, we're flying out to Switzerland." Switzerland?
Yeah, okay, I get it.
I'm like,
I get it. No,
and I was like, and then I did it, and I'm like, well, we're cool. I know we're cool. And then the next one, I'm going somewhere else, and it just happened that each time I booked it, it was some big gig that I couldn't turn down. And then,
you know what? I appreciate that.
Hey, but remember, I came for free.
You did.
I had to redeem myself.
I appreciate that. And you sounded good.
Is that the one that I saw?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta come in.
Oh yeah, no, I immediately was interested in meeting you as a musician and hearing about your music and your story, because wow, I was like I'm like, God, this guy's good. And I've not seen him before, and I went to a few of yours prior to that. I mean, quite a few. So yeah.
It's a really honor. I mean, I was going to talk about, we were talking earlier about the club. I was so bummed because it was one of the few places that you could really go and express yourself as a musician. Truly as a musician. It became like this haven for all these musicians who were going, have you played Impulse? And then we go out there and it was just like, man, I could just, let my hair down. I don't have much, but
I know.
You know what I'm saying? But it's receding. But it was incredible, and I was like, man, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but let's just keep the ride going,
Oh man, I appreciate that.
That was a freaking amazing concept, and I'm glad you're still doing this in the backyard.
And I have to be careful for your sake, so we don't just do a lot of past shop talk about the club and all this.
I'll interject.
But I know that she's from New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know her whole story. I make her repeat it almost every
Hopefully
show, but I'm sure you'll find ways to.
I just wanted to send you love.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it.
It was a huge. This guy right here. One thing he has more than anything else, he dreams bigger than anybody I know.
Yeah. And he has amazing follow through. Yeah. What I've learned from him just working with him is, where's your tattoo? This is like this is a reality. Yeah. This guy doesn't play,
Right.
And I admire that follow through, that Nike what the slogan is popular for a reason. Just do it.
Just do it.
He has an idea. I mean, even with this podcast. I mean, I interviewed him for the magazine, and in about 2 seconds, we were doing a podcast, okay?
Okay. And with all that said, you guys are awesome. Much love. I'm going to return the love and everything, but it is kind of funny, though, because, you know, things don't always work out.
Well, it doesn't.
The irony with the club, not to go on too much, I wanted to say two things about it, is that, man, right when we closed, we were on the way to becoming stable.
Yeah.
So
Financially stable, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
just be able to hang in there.
Yeah, that's
you know,
what
for
I
a
mean.
while.
That's okay. That's what it
you
takes.
Just creating shit out of thin air.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the other, thank you for all that, man. Every time he would come in with his band, okay, and man, I'm telling you, this is real talk. I would get calls the next day when I put it on there. Oh, someone's coming. Okay. By the way, Linda Jean. Okay, Linda Jean, she wanted to be here. Oh. She's heartbroken, bro. Oh. He's got that effect on the ladies. Oh. She's heartbroken. Listen to that voice. See?
Well,
you know what? Yeah, and you're a vocalist. I want to get a little singing today.
I will see what I can. I'll see what I can do.
I thought about that on the way here. What?
Well, no, go ahead.
What? No,
what do you want him to do?
Sing. Yeah,
a song. Acapella style?
Yeah, like his song. Like I have notes.
You're not allowed to have
I know.
Notes.
That's why I'm hiding
for these notes.
No.
Remember, we're supposed to do everything in improv, right? What's going on here?
We're gonna have
whatever that
later.
last song.
The only African American kid in a probably 40-mile radius. There was no kids that looked like me. My family, I was adopted by my stepdad, so I was literally, even in my family,
you were the only black person.
Only black person.
I was too.
Okay,
so you grew up in a white family. Your mom is biological mom is Caucasian.
Yeah.
And your dad's black, but he didn't grow up with you.
Yes. Yeah. So there was this form of isolation that was just you just don't. You don't fit.
You don't have a mirror. You don't have a reflection of yourself.
Yeah, there's nothing, no reference, no cultural reference.
Yeah, and then the culture is going to be rock and roll, which I grew up on too. Yeah.
So then when the piano came, it became like a family member for me, like literally. I look at it as my companion. Like I woke up, first thing I did was go and say hello to my piano, And so to this day, I think it's the one thing I trust. Is my piano. And I'm so grateful to have it as a companion. I really am.
It's always there.
It's just there, and it doesn't yell at you. It doesn't.
That's it.
It doesn't
it's your go-to.
It's it. Right?
Never let you down.
So there's
never let you down.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice
your partner,
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Well, and I can tell you something from a viewer, from just the person watching you for many, many times now, in a variety of forms. Oh, every time, man. Every time you just bring such a quality. That's not just the soulfulness in your voice. It's the manner in which you play.
Yeah.
It's the style that you play. It's the passion you bring to the whole thing. So you just thrill people, including me. Sometimes you go and you want to be supportive of a musician or a band. You've seen them a bunch of times and you're like, okay, they're awesome. I love them. It's my best friend. But it's going to sound exactly the same every time.
Right.
Okay. When I come with the inflection of your voice, and because there's different nuances from your singing style, right?
Never do it the same way.
I got a question. I never thought about this. Do you ever approach a song, whether it's an original by you or a cover or whatever, and sing it differently? Or do you sing it the same?
No. And that's an interesting question because, and I won't mention their names, there's people I have played for who have rehearsed it to a T and do not deviate.
That's why I asked.
And that is a no for us. Like we do not, we don't roll like that.
Yeah.
We sing it different every night. It has to be fresh. It has to be
right.
And so we're thinking about different. It's because it's your literally expression.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you do with your paintbrush.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? So the paintbrush, you're just like, okay, well, where are we going?
Right.
And vocally and musically we're doing the same thing. What's going to happen? I'm going to tell you, go here and God, I hope I don't crash.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I loved your format.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful format. But my mentor was a guy named Raphael Gunash. Rafi Dean he passed away in maybe a good 20 years ago. But he worked with us as we were kids, and he was like, you need to say something. And I have a record called Say Something. He says, say something with your instrument. Don't just play. And so his thing was he'd start on the bass and he'd start playing. He played for Earl Father Hines. He was this,
Yeah.
and he'd start playing, and I'd play. No, say something.
So don't. I read that in your thing. Don't waste a note, right?
Don't waste a note. And we were like 15 years old. I don't know. I'm just getting yelled at. You know, he had diabetes and lost a limb, so he his was taking his insulin, so he was pissed. But now, as a grown person, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, say something with your instrument. This can hurt people. I can heal people. I can hurt people. I can maim people with my music. So be totally, coherent and be aware and intentional with what you're doing.
Well, that also shows a lot of strength in your part at such a young age to be able to hang in there and push through that, because I bet some other people that didn't have that same resolve in that young of an age be kind of crushed, if you will. It sounds a little dramatic, but get discouraged. Okay, let's say discouraged to the point where they don't follow through, and then they subsequently quit.
Well, that's the thing, though. But you got to remember my childhood. Right. So my childhood was rough. Right. You're everywhere you turn, there's someone looking at you strange, and you're an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music was like I could take his abuse because it was like. It was nothing compared to what I dealt with.
It was a friendlier environment.
It was a friendly environment, and I'm learning something. I know he's trying to teach me something, but yeah, I mean, on a daily basis, and I'm not talking about just the kids. It would be the parents.
Yeah, all of it.
The teachers.
Yeah.
Racist teachers.
Where did you grow up?
Sebastopol.
Okay, so in California. So interesting. I don't hear a lot of those stories in California from people who grew up. You would think, but obviously... Yeah. You go outside the Bay Area a little bit and you can feel it anyway,
Well, if you go there right now and try to count how many black people are there.
Yeah. That whole area, Santa Rosa, Sebastopol, it's like...
I think I saw 2 the last time I was over there.
Yeah,
it's still the same way. They haven't changed much. Yeah. But growing up there was, it was scary.
It's tough, it's scary, very much.
So, a lot of people think that, it ended at a certain point, racism ended, or it only happened in the South. No, it was happening everywhere. It was everywhere. But I'm grateful because, I take that and I put it into the music. We processed everything. I think you process your art. All your pain through your art, right? Everything you feel, all your angst, all of the pain you've done, you put it through your art, process it, make it beautiful.
It's like you're telling your story. And everyone walks a very unique story. I mean, that's a unique story. No one can walk it, and it's for you.
It is.
And that's why you can't regret it. You can't because it's a part of you. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious about your background now. You're telling me.
Go ahead.
Oh no, well,
go ahead.
I just the similarities. I don't have a lot to tell, and it's not about me anyway.
But he doesn't know about the magazine. I don't believe.
Okay, I'll start.
Look, you
I did tell him that because I'd love to interview him at some point when I have a slot.
Yes. Okay, this is rich with incredible people. I'm so blessed that he even took the time to come here, man. So much love to you for that. But go ahead.
What part of my background? Anyway, currently I work for a magazine. I write for a high-end audio magazine called AKR Magazine, which is Audio Key Reviews magazine. I write a column called Joan of Audio and Music, which is after Joan of Arc.
I love that.
But I mostly write about music, though I always have to throw in a high-end audio article here and there, and I had to do that in January, so I had to skip an artist and all the people I had scheduled. I had to push them back. But nonetheless, I am from the East Coast, and like I said, my mom is Caucasian. She's Dutch and German.
Sweet.
Yeah, so blonde hair and blue eyes, big blue eyes. And my grandparents kind of raised me until I was about 4.5 years old. My mother was there too, but I'm just looking at you, and I like bonded with my grandfather. He had these big blue eyes and brown hair,
Oh, so I got a grandfatherly image?
No. That's a loving image.
Oh, is that it?
That's a loving
image. I got no chance now.
No, I'm looking at your eyes, brother.
It's one thing to think of, you're like my father. You're like my grandfather and shit. You were very familiar.
Only Peter would hear that part of it. Yeah, I'm looking at your eyes.
That's a good thing, man.
It
is? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so you bond who you bond with, yeah. But I had to realize that later on in life. But nonetheless, my father didn't come to live with us until I was about 5 years old. And he is Afro-Caribbean. He's from Puerto Rico, but he's black. Yeah. So, but I never got any of the culture because my mom's like her family was there. My father's family was in Puerto Rico, so the dominant culture was really white American. And my brother turned me on to music at a very young age. You know, he listened to Led Zeppelin and the Doobie Brothers and all that stuff. And I mean, I fell in love with that. I mean, I was in love with records like day one. You know, so music day one. So it's been a mainstay in my life for a long time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was just in Puerto Rico.
Ah, nice. What part?
I remember seeing that.
I was gosh, my lady would be able to tell me.
Okay, is she Puerto Rican?
She was over there for school.
Oh, okay, got it.
But it was fascinating, the history there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I remember we were on the beach, and she was warning me. She says, "Hey, they have these torrential rains that come through." And I said, "Oh, look at that!" And before I could finish, it just starts pouring rain, and we're like, one of us has a sandal. We're running with our bags, trying to find some shelter. It was insane, and then it's gone. It just flies over.
Yeah.
And I'll just never forget that. That was it's such a beautiful culture, and the food.
Oh my God.
You'd like that.
I can cook though.
He's a
my father did teach me to cook. Okay, I did get that. I just had rice and beans today.
I got to incorporate the guy behind the camera who never gets his face in there at all. Doug's a foodie. You like Cuban food, dude?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Do you ever cook it?
I had beans. I made pinto beans last night.
You're legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doug is so cool. He is like the coolest guy in the world.
Whenever you roll up,
I just want a Doug t-shirt or something, you know? We should have that.
You know
Just
what?
Doug, you know, and then his face on it.
That's love right there.
I'm gonna do that.
That's love.
And then you have like the backyard improv, but you have
No,
Doug.
I like it. Doug, like Napoleon Dynamite, kind of some weird,
just
simple
Doug.
shit. Or
you could do
Doug.
that. You could create that.
Just his face.
Like campy, yeah.
Get back to them.
He's turning red.
No, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
And one time when we
I
did one of the
support that
shows,
project.
everybody has to wear a Doug t-shirt because I'll get like
Totally,
five
be
of
like
them.
Doug Day.
Except for
Doug
Doug.
Day.
Doug Day. Okay, except for Doug. Doug won't wear the Doug t-shirt. We got some. You're part of this
Anyway, thank you.
brainstorming session.
feel-
You will.
I'm the birth of this creativity.
You will realize
I'm
Doug did,
responsible
believe
now.
me.
And you know me, you'll
This is
see
better
that
than
shit,
Don.
and you'll probably laugh because
I will.
remember
You know I
about
will.
this.
Yeah, you have your little pin.
Yeah. Well, no, proper T-shirt.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
just a big old ass T-shirt.
But anyway, that's just a little bit of
That's fine.
my background.
No,
yeah,
I
and
really
it's-
appreciate you
and
sharing that.
Love
Thank
music.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So
love writing.
she's a vegan as well.
Oh yeah.
You cook.
I'm
What
plant-based.
is
15, 16
Cuban-
years, so it's not even a thing anymore for me.
It's
It's a
not even a
lifestyle.
thing.
Yeah. Meaning like it's just a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least, you know,
Pretty
and I have
much,
to
yeah.
give everybody credit for
Yeah.
trying. Yeah.
There's ways you can make it permanent.
I can
but,
help
yeah.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
for
ahead.
that.
No, I was just gonna say I saw this documentary on how they kill the chickens.
Yeah,
and,
you
and
can't live after that.
And then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm not gonna eat. And I got 3 months in,
Yeah.
and then I started biting some chicken. You know, I just like I'm gonna, you know, it was rough, but I felt it. But then I just got hungry, you know. And,
Yeah, and we're creatures of habit. You know, we're gonna, especially food. It's so important. I never try to convert anybody to veganism. I'm not doing it for animals though. That comes with it.
Right.
Some people do it for animals, and that's their primary focus. Mine was really health and really for spiritual reasons.
I respect that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
As do I. So
Mm-hmm.
my question was going to be: so do you cook vegan Cuban at all?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Every day.
So is
Yeah,
that a
every.
big plan?
It's like, you know, like every culture
You know,
has
she's
their
from Puerto
thing.
Rico,
There's-
though.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican.
Oh,
which is across
okay.
from Cuba.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All right.
Puerto Ricans
My
will get
bad.
on you
Puerto
because we
Rican.
have a different
Oh,
flag.
Where's,
Oh, we got
where's Cuba coming in? That's-
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
shorter.
yeah.
It's shorter than Puerto Rican. you
That's
know what I
all
mean?
good.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
okay.
all good. Make
But
fun of
nonetheless,
it.
yeah, like you know, every culture has their thing. You know, so like rice is on the stove. Beans and rice are always in our house.
The plantains or
Oh,
the,
God.
plantains, yeah.
plantains. That was
I mean, I
Yeah.
love the sweet ones. I don't know which ones you like. Do you like the crispy
there
fried
was
ones
a-
or the? I like the sweet.
there was a soup that they made. I know it's going on too long.
No,
about
that's
it,
all right.
but there was a soup that we had that was
Plantain
so
soup, yeah.
ridiculous. And then we went into kind of like the hood, and we had, I think they're called pinchos,
Uh-huh.
and it's like these chicken that they make it like nowhere else.
Yeah.
and we would go back and risk our lives.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
to the hood.
Yeah, it's like soul food, really.
Yeah,
it really
it
is.
was
Like the chicken falls off the bone, you know, like they don't make
so
anything that
good.
doesn't have flavor, you know.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, unreal.
Did you ever have your like DNA done like by Ancestry.com or anything?
My daughter did, and I
Okay.
was fascinated. A lot of our history is from Nigeria, but I need to get mine done.
Yeah, it's very cool, and
yeah.
I got mine done recently, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, so you said Dutch, right?
A lot, yeah. My mom was. She said we thought we were Irish. Her last name, her maiden name is O'Neill, but it was just a.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Yeah, it wasn't cool to be German at that time, I guess. So they chose a different name. And my last name is Jordan, which I know is not my real last name. I don't know what my real last name would be because there's no Puerto Ricans named Jordan. Okay,
Well,
last
you're
name
just starting
Jordan.
a new trend. That's started up there.
But nonetheless, I was surprised at how much. First of all, how German or how white my mother was. She had very little of anything else in her, which is rare, actually.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
We all have like a little mixture. We were all over the globe. We were, all over Europe on my mom's side, and all over Africa.
Okay.
Libya and North. West
Even on your
Africa.
mom's side a little bit?
On my
also?
father's side.
On your father's side, yeah.
So it was just fascinating, but I like to get mine done.
Yeah, it makes it really clear, like,
Yes,
obviously
right.
what your mom had, what your dad had, and what you have, because not every sibling is the same.
Correct.
You're gonna extract different DNA or however that happens.
The genes are fascinating.
It is really fascinating. Yeah. But it had a lot of indigenous roots from South America, really the whole South American continent,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my daughter had, her mother is from Mexico, so she had Aztec,
Okay, yeah.
which was just super, and Mayan, Aztec and Mayan. So I was just like, this is, I got to do this at some point.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty affordable now. So
It's like $100, 90, and you can get a Groupon.
All right.
Yeah, you think I'm not? And then, one part of my heritage is Jewish, so I'm definitely going to take that discount. So
Man,
There you
you're
go.
like a melting pot.
I
You got a
just
lot of
got
stuff.
the
going
which
on
is
in
so
Richmond.
cool. It's
You're
such
like
an
a gumbo.
advantage. That's right. I love
There's a bunch of shit
it.
in
He's a
there.
bowl of gumbo.
Okay,
I love it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
my mother's Jewish, so I'm Jewish by birth. So
Yeah.
so
All right,
cool.
so man, we are the world.
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
going to say anything, but I really do see that in you. Now
Yes,
that you
sir.
said it, it's not even that. It's really something about your personality, actually,
Oh, okay.
or your
Are you sure
or
it
like
is?
your
Okay, good.
the way you hold energy or something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
I told-
it's a beautiful gift. You
Oh,
know,
thank
yeah.
you, thank you.
I tried to tell you that. This guy's got that thing. You know,
Okay.
I don't know what that thing is.
You
I don't
have
even know
that
how you
thing
just
too,
didn't know
brother.
what.
I was
It's
gonna
him.
Okay.
It's
I was
him.
gonna-
Yeah.
No.
Come on
It's
now.
you. So
Yeah, we all have a thing that's a little bit unique.
yes, well,
beautiful,
she's
yeah.
got a thing.
Yeah, we all
Okay,
have a
let's
thing.
not leave
There's a
her
lot.
out.
There's a lot of
Doug
stuff
is-
going on.
Doug is
Doug has got a lot of
There's a lot of
things.
stuff going on in this room. Like, it's a lot
Do
of
I need to
energy,
open the
man.
window or the door or something? Is there
Busting
too much?
through.
Okay, that's pretty funny. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought about this. If I were to ask you, and I'm sure you've been asked a million times by Rohaley on our documentary, by me the first time, and 100 other people. When I ask you, what's your favorite thing about playing the piano? Now, I'm not talking about the psychological aspect, the escape, the artist, that guy. I'm talking about the physical nature
instrument.
of playing the piano.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? What's the
I love that
funnest
question.
part about playing the piano? Is it being aggressive with it? Is it being soft? Is it?
No.
Now, I'm not talking about the creative side. I'm talking about the physical
No,
side.
I totally
Yeah,
get that.
I love that question.
I think there's ways that you have to push yourself beyond your own bounds in the means of like just I'm talking about like just being technically having to play things that you hear perfectly, and then also just staying inside of a rhythm, which I've worked really hard on as a musician. If you listen to a lot of musicians over time, we can get lazy and we start to fall off the beat, or we'll come in. I've worked for years trying to, whatever my concept is, it stays in this pocket. And so I love that challenge of creating concepts inside of time. And then, which my mentor would say is, what do you do with the silence, right? So I love playing off the silence. What you don't play could be just as important as what you do play. So that was my mentor's big thing about saying something.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, just be silent until you feel something coming in. You got something to say. And so that's when we're doing these things. We're doing these improvisational things that you're doing. We got 4 musicians, and everyone's just kind of we're sailing around, and you're just listening, trying to find a little space for you to kind of come in and add to the landscape. If that makes sense. Yeah, most of the stuff, I'm working on a new record right now that I want to release hopefully early next year, but I haven't had any kind of inspiration since COVID. I've just not been writing. I've been just, I don't want to go into like saying depressed, but I just haven't, you know, the muse is just not come by and visited. So I I write all my own stuff, and I've had the great honor of playing with some of the best musicians on the planet, and they come through and they just.
Are we allowed to mention?
Yeah, who do you play with?
Yeah. I'm gonna let him do it because it's an impressive group.
Well, there's Paul Brannon, who's one of the top guys. Billy Johnson, Rob Watson, Wilson Brooks on drums. Is the people I kind of. But of course, all of the greats here. Terry O'Davi, I play behind her now, and
Pete
Escovedo, and I've had in the past a chance to play with Alvin Bishop and what was the other guys? I always forget their names. He'll come to me. But I just had a chance over the years to get a chance to play behind some really amazing people. Played for Quincy Jones for Black History Month. That was kind of a surprise because the group I was playing with never mentioned we were playing for Quincy.
Oh.
So.
Oh wow, that was
I would love to see that.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of half-assed. I kind of learned the chords, but I didn't study. But I got there.
That'll teach you a lesson.
I'm down in Sacramento, and I'm like, wow, they're decorating the club. This is really serious. And out of the back around, the lady goes, I think Quincy's gonna want more purple over here. I said, whoa, wait a minute.
No. I'm reacting to that.
I said, Quincy? She's like, yeah. She goes, this is for. I go, oh my God. And I went and got my keyboard, plugged it in, headphones, and start studying like a madman. And I'm studying, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm sweating. And here comes Quincy. He comes strolling in, and he goes, hey, you must be the keyboardist. Of course, I'm playing keys. And so I said, yeah. And he's like, you a Ray Charles fan? I'm like, rah, right?
Yeah.
And he was so cool. He walked up and he put his arm around me. We're like, here.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, yeah, man, I just appreciate you playing for me. And this is an honor. And I'm like, no, it's an honor for me. And it was the coolest thing. And I nearly crapped my pants through the whole gig. And he was cool. He did say one of my solos was, questionable. But he
One
of my solos.
Oh, so
he's like,
questionable?
Yeah, and he was like, But he was like, you played my chord just the way I intended. He was just really kind. But that was like one of the biggest nights. And then the James Brown Band, playing with them and touring with them in Canada. And there was what's his name, Danny Ray, the guy that used to put the cape on him. And these guys are all like, oh geez, from the cuts. And Danny Ray would talk like this, and you go, okay, I don't know what he said, but I'm gonna nod. And so the rest of the band knew how it was, so they left. So it's just me and Danny. And he's asking, I hear little remnants of sports, something about sports. And so the band is over the side, they're cracking up. They know I can't understand.
Yeah.
And finally, they put me on my misery and said, hey, we gotta go. But it was a good 10 minutes just listening to him. And it was the funniest thing I've ever. But they played jokes like that, man.
You made it funny too. That was great. Good impression. I don't even know the guy, but I feel like
that was exactly how it sounded.
Yeah,
I did word for word. What he just said.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was insane. But yeah, it was
goodness.
That's
great
cool.
fun.
That sounds amazing. And so, with playing with all those folks, so you were traveling as well, right?
Yes. All over Japan, all over South America, Switzerland. I mean, just all over. The place I haven't been is Russia. Not sure if it's really safe right now.
No, I'd hang out here.
Probably just skip that for right now. I'm sure there's some great people over there.
Oh yeah. But we need you here, bro.
Yeah, and then Australia.
And in one piece.
Australia. I still want to go to Australia, and make most of like China. But I just got back from Indonesia, which was amazing, and
how was that?
They were super friendly.
Yeah.
Very friendly. They love our music. It was not what I expected. I thought it was gonna be. Japan was everyone's very stoic. In Germany, very stoic. They're
very serious about their music.
Yeah,
in
and they
Japan.
just watch.
I know that.
Now, what I didn't know in Japan, the reason they're doing it is because they want to respect the artist.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
they
they
don't
respect
talk.
art.
But I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, they hate me.
Yeah.
You know, because we're used to
Right,
people.
yeah.
Until they
But
stood in
soon-
line to talk to
As
you,
soon
right?
as you finish your song, oh,
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah.
To the next song, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. You know, but that first week was rough.
That is
I'm
really
sweating.
true about the Japanese
But
culture.
I thought that the Indian citizens were going to be that way. They, as soon as you came in, yes, and,
Yeah,
and
no, they're
they
completely softer.
they wanted it
more fluid,
autographs,
yeah.
and they were like, you got to come back. And
Mhm.
you know, the rupee is, I think it's like $82 to our dollar.
Yeah.
So you know, their average meal would be $2.50 for us.
$2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
I'm talking
who doesn't
great
love
food.
Indian food?
Yeah, right.
That's like right next to Puerto Rican food.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right
It's
there.
like
Which is next to
Indian-
Cuba.
Yeah, next to Cuba.
I like Cuban food, by the way.
We
Very
we
similar.
we didn't
No,
guess
no, no,
that.
no.
We
I
didn't
brought
guess
it
that.
back.
All right.
If anybody hangs in there, it's
Well,
like my shit's
somewhere in the
calculated
islands.
at the
He's fighting
beginning,
with me
and it's
now,
a
you know what I
1 hour
mean?
long joke.
My
and I come
family's
in at
like,
the end.
kick that boy's ass.
See, that was the longest setup for a joke ever.
Yeah. The New Jersey folks are like, get that
That's beautiful.
Cuban dude out of here.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I don't know if I should tell these stories, but
Please do.
I was in Japan. What I didn't know, I was actually playing for the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, man.
And so,
It's like out in the
No.
open?
Doug's not.
Like,
yeah, they're
oh, it's like
they
they don't
don't-
hide themselves.
No,
Well,
they-
we're almost there here in this
they're
country.
they
It's both the Democratic
they
and the
basically
Republican Party.
they basically
They're
run
bad.
the government. I mean,
Yakuza.
they're now they're like legit businessmen. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on it like I have any. But at the time, I was working for one of their clubs, and so I didn't know that when a guy came in with like 9 women, that was one of the bosses. So they're used to people doing what they want when they want it, and so one of the big bosses comes in. He has 9 women. They're drinking Dom Perignon. And he demands that one of the waiters, he says, tell him to come here.
You?
Me.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
But I heard him say, tell him, and I was like, well, I'm American. You know, you're not, I'll come when I want to. Yeah, fine.
Oh, okay.
You're not my
But
mafia
you're
boss.
not my boss, you know. I didn't know he was a boss.
That was dangerous.
Right. So I kind of took my time. And so I got over there, and he goes, and he just tells me, like,
Oh,
go
go
away.
now? Yeah,
Go
'cause
away.
you didn't come fast
You didn't
enough.
come fast enough.
Oh, wow.
And then he grabs one of the waiters and he takes his wallet and starts slapping him across the face. And I realized I got the waiter in trouble. But I still wasn't putting it together that this was Yakuza.
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, that's really jacked up. Dude, you need to unhand that guy, right? I'm thinking, I'm being, you know, the typical American. I'm in, like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they can, right?
Mhm.
So the final day that I'm there, they had lost my suit. And
Who had lost it?
the
Airline?
dry cleaner.
Oh, the dry
I sent it
cleaner,
into the
okay.
dry cleaner. So I tell my agent, I'm not playing until you guys return my suit or give me the money. And so the agent says, so you know I could make you disappear. And I said, being 25 and an idiot, I go, all right, well, I guess you're going to have to do that then.
Oh.
Right. I was an idiot.
Well, he's here.
Yeah, so
it turns
here,
out,
right,
it turns
no,
out
this is
okay.
crazy. No. And so he goes, I'll give you the money. And I get there. And all the staff are weeping. I still don't put it together. I'm thinking they're sad to see me go. It's my last night.
Okay.
They're thinking, you're going to get killed. They were told he pissed everybody off.
Mhm.
So they're crying. And I guess they changed their mind and they sent me on a bus to go home. I told my lady about this. She's like, this is insane. I had no idea. This is when you're so clueless.
I just wait a minute. I'm
No, not that question. It was about his songs.
That's love life. But
Personal, no, like, do you... Go ahead, go finish your story.
No,
I'll
well,
tell
no, I'm just like, that guy's got such that voice. How are we doing, by the way? Did you have influence on him? Oh, no, we're cool
On-
here.
on
I think
him?
we got another
I don't have
15
any
minutes.
influence on
No,
him.
but did you work your womanly ways to see if he would sing? What was,
Oh, no,
what
he's
was the
going
deal?
to
Did
sing.
he
Oh.
Oh, no, it's... Yeah, of course he is.
Okay,
He
so what
wants
are you
to.
going to sing?
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Hold
Should
on
we
one
do-
second. I just
okay.
want to say that my question was, like, do you write your songs and your music? We'll just call it a song because it includes music. Just to speak to what you're asking as well, which I love that you did that. That's cool. It's very romantic. Yeah, and then you probably,
after after all that time, you're like, damn, I just wasted time and effort. It's still cool. We play it quite a bit. You don't mind if I repost that again? Because that's beautiful. You look
great tune.
Okay. What was the name of the tune? Do you remember?
Love Entered the Room.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
So anyway,
Okay.
and he sounded cool.
All right. So speaking of love entering the room,
Yes.
do you write from personal experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all of it, or is some of it just from imagination is personal too, but is some of it from imagination?
I would say all of it is from personal experience. I do have different things I sing about, like it could be about love, or it might be my political views, but it's always going to be from my own standpoint. When I've written for other people, it's more difficult, to try to capture, but it's always you have to pull from your own bag.
Well, you did a great job. I mean, we brought in. Will you tell me the story? One of his, he's got so many. I don't know if you've actually. He's got a lot of songs, so I don't know that you can sit here and go through them all.
I didn't go to his discography.
But one of my favorite songs, and there's many of them. There's dozens of them. Is "Banjo Don't Cry for Me."
Oh yeah.
Would you tell me the story? And I'll post that. So I'll go online and maybe tonight, just for fun, I'll find the video and I'll post that for people on the network.
Yeah.
Would you tell me the story? Because I don't really know the story behind "Banjo Don't Cry for Me."
So the story behind Banjo, this is probably one of the songs that I could say I spoke from like the third person.
Okay.
One of the few songs, but I was thinking back. I was reading about Juneteenth, and Juneteenth was basically we didn't have the internet, right? So the slaves were freed, but some of the slaves didn't hear about it until 2 years after the fact. So Juneteenth was like when, I think it was in Texas, they kind of went, oh, so I'm trying to imagine, I was trying to write a song imagining what they felt the day that they found out they were free, just reflecting back on all the relatives they lost, all of the loss, and what the heck to do. And I imagine like the guys sitting there playing their banjos, singing songs of love and freedom. And so that's where the song concept, and basically also going deeper with it, the banjo and instruments were the way they had to, actually talk with each other. So people from another plantation would drum, so they talked through code, through their instruments. So in the song it says, banjo, please, you cry for me, because I'm not going to cry for myself. So it's talking about how that instrument became the people's voices, the slaves' voices. So even in this time, now that we're free, banjo, please cry for me, So that's where the song came from and the concept of it.
That was an amazing question, an amazing answer. Really, that is epic right here.
We got about 10 more minutes or so.
Yeah, he's ready.
I feel like he could be he here all night.
Yeah.
I don't get bored of this guy. But she's in the
It's
car.
a bromance.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just
We've always been
it's
that way
cool.
with each other.
Yeah, well, I recognize I recognize when somebody's got it. Not just their physical talents, but the persona, the way that you interact with people, and you interacted with the staff, and the way we just deal with each other. And look, you're like a lot of musicians that deal with the Ben Musterkas and everything else, and like he plays with Candy Dolfer and all these other people too. So he's like he's gonna play at one of them here, and he's like, yeah, bro, I'm there unless I've got a big gig, Brian. And then I've come to understand that, appreciate that and stuff. Hopefully I just don't hear the day before, and I'm like, can you imagine trying to throw one of these and not have the drummer or something?
So did you teach yourself how to write music and all that too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're teaching like them music theory and all that stuff?
I did learn, so the correction, I did take lessons for about 4 years with a professor, but I taught myself how to play for 20 years. I went pro, but there was a point where I said, I'm hitting a brick wall, and I want to expand. And so I'm not a college kind of guy. I'm not in the classes. So I was like, I heard about this one professor, and he was retired, and he taught out of his house. So I went there and paid a fortune and worked with him, and he just opened up my floodgates, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful. But before that was all self-taught.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. And so how did you develop this personality, this persona? That's very
How did you develop?
Yeah. Is it from did you have family members or have you met your dad? Have you met your dad?
I never met my he did see me when I think I was about 5 months old, and then my mother, he was a player, you know, I'm from New York as well.
Okay.
So he said, hey, you know, I got you pregnant, but I still want to date my other 5 women, so I'll get you a house. And she's like, nope, no, we're not doing that. So my grandmother at that time had moved to Indonesia. And so we hopped in a plane and we moved to Indonesia. And I was living there for almost a year. And my mom said that I didn't touch the ground. All of the maids would pick me up and, you know, take me over. I was just probably, you know, the first year of my life. And then my mother met my stepdad, who came over, you know, just traveling the world. Met her in Jakarta, and they got married 2 weeks later, and he brought us back to the States.
Oh, wow.
That's how quick it was. It was like that.
You know what? You're both. I want to give you both a compliment because I'm not nearly as good as either of you. You both know your family history really well. All the lineage and all that. You know,
really.
I don't.
Not really. I just learned it.
We know nothing of the black side of our family.
Yeah. No, and I have little
black side of the
contact
family,
with that side
of.
also.
It's all of our stories died with our aunts.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Same.
And the reason being is a lot of our relatives were connected to criminal activity, and it was unsafe
for them to
even
have a
say
record.
anything about what they were doing. You just didn't talk about it, especially in New York during the 80s.
Yeah.
When the mob was running the whole city.
Yeah.
My father was, you know, running stuff. And so we asked them time and time again, but even to this day, they would not speak on it. No one will speak about what happened. And it's just the way it is, right? You know, you don't want to wake any demons up.
I think when you're still here.
I think we think about our lineage.
I know. You got the Asian mafia, you got
the Asian mafia.
Dude, we're lucky he's even here.
And the mob now.
Yeah, and what about the Cuban mafia?
I'm working on it, man. I'm trying to get over there and piss some people off, you know what I'm saying?
So about the persona, about the personality, what do you think?
The persona, I couldn't really tell you. I just think it's, you know, we are all kind of carved out of our environments.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of our mentors, if we're lucky enough to have mentors that teach you about humility and teach you about the real value system. In this society, I'm sure you kind of agree, a lot of our value systems are based on, you know, keeping up with the Joneses.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
They're
you
material.
gotta be material. And I was so fortunate to have parents that were hippies that just
that's such a great upbringing.
We're grounded. It's like we made our own clothes. We had moccasins. We weren't thinking about Adidas. We were like, hey, be good people.
You were like alternative to some degree.
Alternative, like sitting on the fringes, right? So that was
so that was I can see that then. You're your own person.
Yeah.
And that comes through.
And you're happy and you're confident with it.
Yeah.
And what I learned from my parents was you don't need to prove anything. You just need to, you know, I usually compete with myself. So I'm not concerned about anyone else's buckets. I want to go up and play my best show. Yeah. And if I disappoint myself, I disappoint myself. I'm not waging against someone else's.
Yeah. That's
barometer.
what I see. That's what I see. Yeah, it's sort of that strong sense of self. Yeah.
Just be yourself. And if they like you, if they don't, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of self-love, brother. I love it.
So obviously you've got a busy schedule. Thanks for all that you do, all your contributions, and you know, I mean, you're busy writing all the time, but obviously he's somebody you're.
I'd love to interview
at some
him.
point in time.
Yeah.
I'd be honored.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they do. They've got a lot of. They get a couple million
that'd be
views
so
per
cool.
month, kind of a thing. It's
so
a
cool.
digital magazine.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful one, though. Yeah.
And
we could talk about tech. I can talk all day about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, she also used to have her own store.
Yeah, and the high-end audio store. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I'd love to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, because you like all those tubes and all the
Heart Song Audio. It was called.
Vintage.
It was in Jack London Square. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long ago was
Yeah,
that?
I lived in Oakland for like close to 16 years. Gosh, I can't even remember the date. I want to say a good 10 years ago. Yeah.
That's relatively recent.
It is relatively. It might be a little bit longer, maybe 12, but around that time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
The
for
reason
you.
I moved to Oakland was and I lived in Oakland for close to 16
The shop
years.
was in Jacqueline Square though?
Yeah, we built it out there. Yeah.
Man, I wish I'd known that.
Yeah. It was there for a few years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But anyway, I think we're ready for. If you are ready, I would love him to sing. I don't want to get
No.
to the end of this.
Yes,
And
please.
then,
Make
because
sure you have
we're an
enough video.
hour
I'm
and
probably
7
dead
minutes.
there. So you know, she's right. She knows what
Oh
she's
yeah, I'm sure people
So
are
what-
snoring at this point.
Yeah. No,
See,
no,
I didn't
no.
want you to
Doug,
put
make sure you
Oh,
get
Doug
him.
is snoring.
No,
I
Doug's
don't want
not.
him to get too
Well,
relaxed.
Doug is snoring. That's why he's over here barely holding up.
Oh, maybe that's the t-shirt face.
Oh, he's snoring.
It's
He's
snoring,
snoring. He
yeah.
doesn't have his t-shirt yet. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what it is. There goes one more night. I'm not with you. Sometimes I think I'm gonna lose my mind. 'Cause my baby's gone, she's gone for good. So I get emotional every time I see her smile in the picture on the mantle above the fire.
Woo!
Okay.
Wow, I felt that. That was vibration. I like a tactile
That was cool, huh,
experience.
Doug? Hopefully
You know what I mean?
I got it.
I like music I like to feel it in my body, to be honest with you, and I can feel your voice
Oh, I
in my
appreciate that.
body.
Thank
Yeah, penetrating, right?
No, it's like it vibrates.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gets
It's
in
like
there,
sitting
it
in
does a
front of
little
an
jiggle, jiggle.
amplifier or whatever it is,
I
you know?
appreciate it. I just feel truly blessed to have met, people like yourselves, and I'm so proud of you what you accomplished outside of the club.
Oh, yeah.
When the club ended, I was like, oh man, I knew that was devastating for you. But when I started seeing you do the improv, I was like, oh, this is a guy you can't kill.
Creator,
this guy.
creator.
This
yes.
brother is like, okay, F it, redirect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's just
Well,
redirect.
I mean, look, I wouldn't be able to do it without any of you guys, man. So thanks for being a friend and thanks for coming and lending your talents, and I totally understand going forward when you have, you're going on tour or whatever.
Well,
I
just
get
know,
it.
just know if I commit and it's only because it's just
I
like something
understand
out.
fully.
But no, I'm gonna be there.
Love you.
And
I love you.
looking
Yes,
forward
so man, no, thank you so much for everything.
Absolutely.
Before we cut out of here, is there anything else you wanted to ask?
I just want to thank him, and it was a pleasure to get to know you, really. And I look forward to keeping an eye out for you,
Well, thank you.
keeping in contact with you. We're friends on Facebook, at least.
Yes.
And I'd love to interview you.
And you're going to see him
maybe
a
for
week
the-
from Saturday.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Definitely. I will see you then. But, I know this is a little bit far, but maybe the first episode.
This
On
is
the
the first
podcast.
episode.
No,
by the way,
the first
season 2.
issue for January 2025.
Are you talking about your magazine?
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I do
No,
want to
So
mention.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, I just want to mention Simon and the DOS.com is my
That's the
website.
Oh,
Say it
again.
I couldn't find
Say it
it.
again.
Simon and the DOS.
And the DO, what does that stand
DOS
for?
is Descendants of Soul.
Oh, right. Okay. I did
The
see that, and I didn't
collective,
think
yeah.
that was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, I
it's
was
a
just
collective.
browsing, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just a collective of my favorite bands and musicians, and we're just, they're not actually aware that they're in it. I just made it up. So
Speaking of
Perfect.
soul, I do want to say this one
Yes.
thing, yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you for sharing your background, your heritage, and it's very interesting to me because there are some similarities.
thank you.
But the soul in you is so deep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's such a rich gift.
I am so,
Oh my God.
so
Yeah.
grateful that you said that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.